Should I say this? Hey guys, so today I wanted to just come talk to you guys and just have a nice, like, honest, open, like, get to know me chat about just like my life, any relationship, little things you want to know about me. I feel like with TikTok, with that being my main like platform for so long, there's only so much you can do on it as far as like diving deeper and getting closer and just knowing more about me in like the 15 to 60 seconds I have. So I really wanted to take this time today to sit down and answer some questions you guys have for me about me. That makes sense? Us getting. Anyway, let's get into the video. The first question I wanted to answer was, how did Riley propose? So funnily enough, on my 19th birthday last year, we had already talked about like getting married because Riley was already talking about joining the army, and we really wanted to shoot for him to be able to leave beginning of this year, if not, you know, February at the very latest. So we were talking and we're like, yeah, let's just go ahead and get married. We're gonna get married in like 2 years anyways. We, you know, we've always wanted to get married and whatnot. So when my 19th birthday came around, I was already thinking like, how funny would it be if he proposed? He's like, babe, we're gonna do like a birthday weekend. I was like, okay.
Period, like, that's, I mean, of course.
So he got my nails done, which I automatically thought was very weird because my boyfriend is very much just a Call of Duty, beer drinking, like minds his own business type of guy. So when I heard him on the phone, I was like, and he was talking about like which size and like shape acrylic he thought I wanted and everything, I was like, what just came out of your mouth? I was very confused. So that was like my first red flag. He got me a hair appointment and I was like, girl, are you okay? Like, either you're like feeling my birthday way too much or something's going on, you know? So then after we got my hair done, he was like, I made a reservation at this restaurant. It's a very nice restaurant. And I was like, okay. Again, I was like, okay, maybe he's just like really excited for my birthday. I don't know. But on the way to the restaurant, we had gotten a hotel to spend the night in because we just wanted time for ourselves because we were living with his mom. And if you have a mother-in-law, you know that that's not the most comfortable. So he got a hotel for my birthday and we were on the way to dinner and he stopped at a beach and I was like, oh, okay, well, we always go to the beach for TikToks. He's like, I want to make a TikTok. Okay. So I started walking up and down the beach to get like good lighting and everything. And then I turned around on like my third like lap back and forth to him and the camera. And then he was on one knee with the ring. You can see my ring, that's what it looks like. She's cute. But yeah, so that is how we got engaged. And then we got married on December 10th of last year. Next question was, am I going to college? Later down the road when we get stationed at our first studio station, me and Riley really want to go to school. I want to go to school for a marketing degree. I feel like that'd be really helpful with my content creation, with my growing my brand and things like that. And it's something that I'm passionate about. I didn't go to school right out of high school because there's nothing I was passionate about, there's nothing I was driven about, and I was just gonna waste like my time, my money, and things like that, just to ultimately probably end up dropping out or, you know, just quitting for a while or anything like that, and that just wasn't what I wanted to do. So now that I actually have a better perspective on what I want to do with my life, which is definitely content creation and uplifting you guys and being a body confidence advocate and all that type of stuff, I feel like having a marketing degree and stuff, like degrees to complement that, is definitely what I want to do. When do me and Riley plan on having kids? So truthfully, I stopped taking birth control this year because I had a lot of issues with like how my body reacted to the hormones inside of birth control. I've been on Depo before, which if you don't know what that is, it's just a shot of the same type of hormone that's in like the pill and everything, but it's on a much stronger scale because it's supposed to last like 3 months at a time, so you don't have to really worry about it like you would having to take the pill every single day, which like sounded great and good and fine when I was 17, right? I was like, okay, sure, I'm about to go with my boyfriend, like I'm young, I'm worried I'm not gonna be able to remember because we just like do so much all the time, especially in Hawaii. There's so much to do as far as like going to the beach or just anything like that. So I took the shot, and the first 3 months I noticed pretty significant weight gain. Oh my god, hello? Whoa, okay, there we go. I noticed pretty significant weight gain within the first 3 months, probably like 10 to 15 pounds to be honest. And then I got my second Depo shot, another 3 months, and I remember in the second month of the first round, I lost my period entirely. And so I was like, okay, well, that's a little odd. That's a little strange. I mean, whatever. And then the second round of depo, I gained another 15 to 18 pounds again, and I still hadn't gotten my period back, and I was like, okay, this is kind of alarming me, the way my body is like reacting to this, especially not having a period. As much as I do want to have a family with my boyfriend one day, it was kind of really unsettling that I didn't have a period, and it didn't feel good for me. So I was like, oh my god, I have lost my period forever. Like, I'm never be able to have kids, which is a very, you know, common concern. I mean, there is a lot of women that aren't able to start a family, and I just wanted to make sure that I was taking care of myself to the best of my ability to make sure that I could. Obviously things happen, so eventually I am going to have to go to the doctor and figure out what's going on, because still now it has been 18 months and I still do not have a regular period, and it's just kind of weird. So I just completely decided to stop all forms of birth control. I mean, I'm married now, and we're firm believers of like, if it happens, it happens. Kids are a blessing in any situation for us. So it's not really a concern about whether I'm gonna get pregnant. It's a concern of, I should make sure that I'm healthy, so when I do get pregnant, everything will go smoothly, rather than, you know, just kind of keep going with the flow and possibly damaging my body more. I assume we're probably going to have kids within the next couple of years, hopefully. Again, the whole point of me stopping birth control is because I am not 100% sure that everything's okay with me. So it's hard to say, and I've gotten a lot of comments about that, you know, how cute our kids will be and everything of that sort. And I just wanted to, you know, come talk to you guys about that, because if you are experiencing the same type of thing, I highly recommend just completely stopping it and just figure out what's going on with you and everything, because you're what's most important, not, you know, pleasing your significant other. That's just how I feel about it. The next question was, did you always want to be an influencer? Personally, yes, I did. My, you know, middle school to high school time, I was really trying to be like a makeup guru on YouTube, which was not for me. I was good at it like on myself, but on other people, I just get way too freaked out, and I don't know, it just wasn't for me when I actually started thinking about it. My passion lies with body confidence and uplifting and encouraging and just all around good vibes content. So I did have to, you know, kind of figure out, like, just because it works for other people doesn't mean it's gonna work for me, you know? So last year when TikTok really started blowing up and I just got on it just to like watch it, not even to make content, I just started really like seeing more girls that made the content that I personally liked watching. And I feel like that's the biggest thing when you're wanting to be a content creator, is not really, of course you want to stick to like what's trending and things like that, kind of like get you off the ground and everything, but as far as you and your brand, making content that you like to watch and that makes you feel good will overall like help you sustain, yeah, that love for content creation over time, or else you might feel burnt out when you're making content that's like solely just reviews, solely like just like clickbait stuff, or just whatever, or just what's working for other people, because that might not be what you're passionate about. I have slowly started to stray away from it, to be honest, because TikTok has become a pretty like toxic environment as far as like comment sections, and just there's so many different people and like so many like discover pages you can end up on, because everyone's For You page is curated differently based off of like what they like to watch, and sometimes your content might be just thrown in the mix just to like get them like test if they have a different interest they may not know about. And recently, for some reason, I've just been catching like all the wrong people who are just really mean, and they know they make the whole comment like, you're promoting obesity, like all this other stuff, and it's like, no, I'm promoting loving yourself in any size or shape, and not just going with the beauty standard and tearing yourself down because you might not look like, you know, Madison Beer, and that's okay. She's gorgeous and you're gorgeous. And of course, you're not always going to be everyone's cup of tea. I totally get that. Totally fine with that. But I feel like a lot of us, if you're just even scrolling through TikTok and you're reading someone's comment section, I feel like a lot of us can agree that it's just becoming more and more and more just like toxic and hard for creators to find that love and motivation to post on there anymore. So that's part of the reason why I'm trying to transition more to YouTube as well. I just personally love YouTube a lot. I feel like there's a lot bigger of a space to have your creativity and to put that filmmaking side of it into and form a better connection, rather than the 15 to 60 seconds on TikTok. Oh, I met this girl and she just texted me back. I really liked her. Okay, quick side note. Riley, some guys in Riley's like bae. They started like a group chat for like their wives or whatever. whatever, and girlfriends. So even talking, I really like this one girl. Oh, I hope she doesn't watch this because she totally follows me on Instagram. What's it like getting married young? Honestly, I love it. I love being a wife more than anything. It fills me up more than anything, besides, you know, what I'm passionate about and everything. But I just love, I don't know, I just love being a wife. Like, look at that. I always knew we were gonna get married, and we both had talked about probably getting married by the time I was his age. We're 3 years apart, so that's only like 2.5 years down the road for me, which I feel like was a good time. But obviously things happen, and we're just, you know, we're so sure about our relationship and just so sure that that's the person that I want to walk through life with. Like, I feel like if we divorced, which we talked about this before, if we divorced or we broke up prior to getting married, that he was always going to be the person that I would think about later in life if I was married to someone else and be like, wow, I really wish that would have worked out, or I wonder how he's doing, or like, even he'd be the person I tell my kids about when we're talking about having their first like real just life-changing love, you know, and he feels the same way. So it's just, I don't know, it's definitely like, you just know. I just am so happy I get to grow up with my person, and I'm very blessed to have found him at such a young age. Obviously, you know, at the end of the day, it boils down to your own self-maturity and things like that. And as far as like how you're going to handle a relationship and if it's going to be sustainable long-term, I feel like that's where a lot of people, when they get married young, it kind of goes astray because, or goes awry. I'm saying like maturity, and I'm like, I only graduated high school. But anyways, but like, you know, if you're not on the same, you don't have the same foundation and you're not on the same playing field, as you grow up, obviously you're going to have different things. And maybe I feel like that's what causes a lot of like marriages when you get married young to, you know, end up divorcing or going on different paths, because you're growing without each other, not with each other. And that's something me and Riley really want to always focus on, is growing together. How is your relationship with your husband's family? I don't want to speak on this too much because I'm very private when it comes to that side of, like, about my husband side of things. But you know, I don't feel like anyone is ever really close to their in-laws. I mean, if you are, that's great for you, but I feel like a lot more times than often there's a really difficult transition of like them respecting your place in his life and you being the main woman in your husband's life or your boyfriend's life now, which is totally natural. There's nothing wrong with that. It happens. You get married and that is your new family. Your spouse and your kids are your immediate concern, you know? And we've had really hard problems with that on his side, and so I always will love and respect them because they're his family. But as far as like us being close, I've never felt it, and it's never been reciprocated. There's a lot of like passive aggression and just weird stuff, so it's whatever. I'm not like concerned about it. I'm not searching for validation from his side of the family. I know that I'm a good wife. I know that he loves me. I know that we're solid. He's my best friend. I'm his best friend. So it's nothing like that affects me like in my relationship, you know. But as far as my parents, I'm very close to my parents. Riley's very close to my parents, and my dad and Riley actually did the same job in the Army. Well, Riley does like the sister job to Riley, my dad's job. Hello. So they have a lot to talk about. They're very close. My dad and him actually used to have a very strained relationship partially over what I was just talking about. But also, if you don't know, my husband recently became sober at the end of last year. He had problems with like substance abuse and alcohol, which is again something that is just a fact of life for a greater majority of people than all of us realize. But luckily at the end of last year he was able to get sober, and that's when, you know, our whole relationship kind of shifted, which kind of segues me into another question I had, which is like, do we have any beliefs? Me and my husband are very we're not very religious. So I feel like there's a difference between religion and relationship with God, because I feel like religion is like rules and regulations, and that's so not how it is in real Christianity. I fully believe, like, my husband wasn't into that type of stuff before we got married because he grew up Jehovah's Witness, and it just wasn't his thing growing up, so he kind of like blanketly covered all religion with that feeling he had towards, you know, his upbringing. So when we got together, I was kind of just like, you know, it's important to me, and you know, we've always been always serious about getting married, having kids, and I was just like, you know, I want my kids to grow up with the same faith that I had, or at least, you know, you can't make someone believe anything, you know, you can't make someone do anything. It's always up to them, but just to give them that option growing up. So Riley and I always talked about it, and he was like, you know, towards the end of last year when he decided to get sober, he just looked at me and he was like, Maleah, I need something stronger than just like, he didn't want to go to therapy, he didn't want to go to AA, but he wanted God, he wanted Jesus, and he wanted it, that faith, and he, you know, wanted what he feels like me and my family have. So Riley and I ended up going to church, and then he, you know, it was just completely different than what he grew up with. It was really explained to him, you know, real Christianity, the real love of God is not rules and regulations. It's not what we can do for him. It is just accepting that he loves you for you, and you don't have to change for him, but through him, he will make changes in you to become the better version of yourself and become the man or woman that he created you to be. So, you know, with that, that's when literally our whole relationship changed. Like, he was always very loving to me, and I never felt, you know, that he wasn't solid, he wasn't loyal or anything like that, but I definitely came second best to his addictions, which is just the hard reality of when you're with someone who's struggling with that. That's always going to be at the forefront of their mind. That is just what it does to you. It doesn't mean that you're not actually important to them. It's just what happens. It's just, when are you going to get your next high? It's all that type of stuff. So when he handed his life over to God, and it just like, it was like a night and day difference. It was almost instant too. It was crazy. Like, he was so much more present, he was so much more attentive, he was so much more loving and understanding and patient and communicative, and just everything that I always knew was there. He's always had the most potential ever in my eyes, but it was always a matter of him taking the steps to unlock it and to know who he really is, and to know what he wants and everything like that, because he was never created to be in a cage like that, to be always struggling with those types of things, to you know, be run by that type of stuff. He's created you so much more, and I'm so happy that luckily we were able to get to a place where he could, you know, open himself up to accept that and to see that in himself. And so it was just crazy. He completely made like a 360. If you could even go farther than that, I would say like 7 360s. It was crazy. But yeah, and even in himself, it's so amazing to see the growth that has happened in him, that he 100% gives all the, you know, all the credit to God, and it was crazy. And how do I cope with long distance while my husband's in basic training? So I always write letters to him at night. It just makes me feel like we're like talking to each other, and he feels like this. He told me like he totally feels the same way. Like, it just helps us feel like, you know, we still have that coming together at the end of the day after work type of thing. And I just always write to him before at night before I go to bed. And you know, I'm always looking at like the Facebook pages whenever they upload. I love seeing, there's like a graph that they post, right, of like everyone's battalions, and then like what phase they're in, what week they're in, and just I love seeing his group like get closer to the end, just because I'm so proud of him. And I know how good that must feel for him, and I just know that he's gonna feel so accomplished at the end of this. That's like my favorite thing ever. Like, I don't really even care about the pictures or seeing him. Of course, they're fantastic, but I love seeing like his progress and just knowing that like he's doing it. Like, go off. Like, I'm just so proud of him. So that's my favorite thing ever. I look at that all the time when I'm like having harder days with like myself, because obviously you're the other person. You're the person that, you know, kind of had to stay behind a little bit. But it's awesome. I love supporting him. I love that he's doing something that he loves, and I'd be apart from him for like as long as it took for him to experience like the fulfillment he has now, and the self-confidence he feels in himself now, and I don't know, just the overall contentment he has with like his life now after so long of him kind of feeling like all over the place, you know, or feeling like he wasn't ever good enough, and just things like that. So it's so amazing, and I would do this over 10 times over for him to you know, continue to feel proud of himself. I always print him out pictures because I know he loves that, and he like has his locker full of like Polaroids and stuff I've sent him. He's so cute. He's like, I kiss them every day. But and I love doing little things for him, sending him things that he asks for that he needs, or that, because they only get to go to the store every so often. It's not whenever they run out of something. So I love doing that. That makes me feel, you know, like I'm still have like wifey type duties as well. And of course, ultimately what really helps with being long distance is knowing that my husband is like, I couldn't have more trust in him either. Like and that's not even like for me, like saying that I'm just not concerned. It has everything to do with just how he is. He always wants to make me feel like he's still trying to get me to be his girlfriend, right? And that goes so far with us girls, you know, when we don't feel like they've given up, and then all these other little thoughts come in our head, you know, when, you know, other women are added to the mix.